Hello everyone, welcome to another TLDR video. I'm your host Voodoo Pickles, and today we're going to be talking about The Dark Matter. This was written by Daniel M. Durick and is the first book in the series, the Bridgewater Collection, and this was published in 2024, and I received this as an ARC, which is an advanced reader copy, but it's out. It was published last year. And this book starts... We are at a university, and there is a dark matter cosmologist named Catherine, and she jumps out of the office window a few stories up and is unalived. And after this introduction chapter, we follow two main characters. We follow Jacob Reed, who is a patrol officer with the Bridgewater PD, and then John Prosser, who is a detective, also in the Bridgewater PD. And Prosser is sent to investigate Catherine's unaliving. And so when he gets there, he goes up to the office, starts a normal investigation, and then sees what he calls spooks wearing khaki shorts and sunglasses. And so he decides that screw the investigation. I don't want them to take my case away from me like they have done in the past, very vaguely. And so he decides to just I want to know why this person did the unaliving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal evidence. And I'm going to hide it from everybody. So he steals her laptop, steals her garage door opener for her personal home. Later on in the book, he goes to her house, steals her a few pictures, like one of her and her boyfriend, and takes pictures of her house, and then also steals some experimental machinery, electronics that she was working on. And so that's kind of what he's doing over here. Prosser also has a wife named Sarah, who is the most understanding wife ever. Pretty much, she decided that she's going to let him do whatever he wants to do, whenever he wants to do it, until he retires in 5 years. And then once he retires, then, they'll finally be a couple and be a family. Because her and him had a child late in life. They have a son named Charlie. And Charlie's super smart. I was wondering, the dialogue in the book where Charlie is talking to him alternates between like a toddler and a teenager or close to adult type person. But it is explained that he's just super smart. So Charlie's there, Sarah's there, John's there. John's off investigating. The second person we follow is Reed. Reed's personality is he's angry. And he is easily angered. And then once he's angry, he likes to punch things. And he is a patrol officer. He is working double shifts at the Bridgewater PD to try and afford a house. And he has a girlfriend named Wendy, whose personality trait is she just wants she's like obsessed with strength. That's what it says in the book. She's obsessed with strength. They met at a gym. They're living together. She's there. She works days. And he has a dog named Badge. So after John is doing his investigation over at the university, Bridgewater University, we follow Reed on a bunch of his patrol calls. Some of his patrol calls are like normal. After a while, he goes to an old farm that he used to visit when he was a kid to see his neighbor named Sadie. And when he's at this call, the farmer there, which is Sadie's father, asks him, "Why did you run away the last time you were here? Why don't you tell me what happened?" He's like, I don't remember. He's like, "Well, come back when you remember." So the calls after that start getting weird. Like, he starts seeing a mantis, he starts seeing these weird shapes, and time starts being a little weird with him. So he's like, all right, whatever. And later on, Reed realizes that when he was a kid, him and Sadie had seen a UFO. And that's why he ran away. So when he goes to tell the farmer, "I remember what happened," he stops and he calls Sadie. He finds her through Facebook. It's fine. He calls Sadie and he tells her, "I remember we saw a UFO when we were kids." And she's like, "Cool story, bro." And he starts to ask her all these questions. And she's like, I've been dealing with this for years. You just realized this was happening. You just go deal with it yourself, and hangs up. And after he realizes he saw a UFO, he starts seeing aliens, and he actually gets abducted a couple of times. And when he tells his girlfriend that what's going on and he got abducted, she calls him weak and pathetic, and she needs somebody strong, and breaks up with him. And so, like, okay. And then during this time, we have little chapters following Charlie as well in the book, just following him. Apparently, Charlie is also seeing these aliens and is routinely getting abducted, except he doesn't say anything to anyone ever. And after Reed is abducted, CIA agents show up and tell him, you weren't abducted. You spent a nice night here with your girlfriend, Wendy. And he's like, no, I was abducted. And they're like, no, if you go around telling people like that, we will kill you, Wendy, your dog, your mom in Florida, and we'll unalive everybody. So he's like, okay. And John notices that the CIA agents are following Reed after a while out in the wild, and he ends up talking to Reed, and they end up working together on this investigation of why Catherine unalived herself. They interview a ton of people. They interview like company CEOs and things, and they find out that Catherine had hyperthymesia. And she used government contracts to fund a satellite that she built, and the satellite was going to be used to measure dark matter. Except they find her brother, who tells them that she also saw aliens and was using this satellite as a start of a series of satellites that she was going to launch into the atmosphere, and it was going to create like a net to protect the Earth from aliens. And when she went to launch this satellite, it was shot down by the aliens. And so they're like, okay, this is why. But that doesn't explain why she unalived herself, because she had insurance on those satellites. After they find this out, they find out also that the CIA agents are working with the aliens, because the CIA agents come to confront them about the research or the investigation that they're doing, and they bring an alien in a skin suit, which Reed stabs and is like, aha, I know you're an alien. And during this confrontation, the CIA also lets John know that if he continues on this investigation, they will unalive his whole family. And once they make that threat, he's like, I'm out. Not dealing with this. I'm out. He gives all the stuff that he has to Reed. He's like, you can do whatever. I need to protect my family. And so when Reed goes off, he continues investigating. And he realizes that Catherine also built an AI system using a government quantum computer. And this was the last thing she was talking to right before she unalived herself. And he tells John that she asked this AI system a question, and the answer to that question was why she jumped. And John tells him, I'm not going to ask it. I don't want to know. I need to protect my family. You do you. And so they leave. They say goodbye. And Reed goes and he asks this AI what the question was and what the answer to the question was. And then he gets the answer. We never find out the answer. And then he sets fire to his house. And then the book ends with Charlie looking up at the sky and being happy that he has his family, and then being like, all right, well, I'll just endure the aliens abducting me. So is this a totes or nope? I rated this a 2.75 out of 5. And there was nothing really resolved in this book. Like, the whole investigation thing it felt odd. It felt weird. And the fact that these characters were not well-rounded out characters that took a lot of away from my little scoring system that I have in them. The characters weren't characters. They were caricatures of a personality trait of these characters. And I feel like this one, just like We Are Volhire, Volhair is it's starting off the beginning of a series, but instead of giving me a fully thought out story and then building off of that into it, it's an introduction. It's introducing you to characters and an idea that will be explained later on in later books. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I like, if you're going to make a series, that's totally fine. I don't care. I love series, but I want a story in a book. Like a TV show, when you have episodes like in Buffy, you have one episode that's one bad thing that's going on, one mystery, and you solve the mystery, and then you continue on and you realize there's a whole story, and then every season has the big bad, and it's building up to that, and then the last couple are the resolution of that. Like, I still want a complete story. I don't want an introduction to a bunch of characters with nothing happening after that. That bugs me, that annoys me, and that took a lot away from it. So it's a nope from me. Hopefully, maybe I'll read the second book. Like, I'm still debating on reading the second book of We Are Valhire. Eventually, I'll get to it after I'm more finished up with my physical TBR, and I'm hoping that the writer will next books will have better, well-rounded characters. Like, every time it talked with the characters, I was rolling my eyes a lot. I'm like, these people are not people. These are weird facets that you're showing me of people, but whatever. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. That was my thoughts on The Dark Matter. It's free on Kindle right now. I got this free as an ARC, but on Kindle Unlimited is also free. Or you can buy the paperback, and I think it's in hardcover as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, afternoon, whatever it is where you are. In the description below, I'll put down where you can buy this from your local bookstore or also you can find it through thrift books if it's available. If not, I'll also put the Amazon link down below and the library link if you are in the United States, where you can find your local library. You can probably find it through there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You guys are amazing and awesome, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.